Good evening. I will call a meeting to order. Welcome to the North Rose-Wolcott Central School Board of Education meeting tonight. Let's begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We were hoping that John would be able to Zoom louder. We were hoping that John would be able to Zoom in tonight. He's feeling better and not able to make a meeting in person yet, but we're glad that he's better, and if the technology would work, he would be Zooming with us. So if he pops in during the meeting, you'll know he's here. The first order of business is to approve tonight's agenda. A motion, please, to approve the agenda. Linda and Travis, any discussion? All in favor of approving the agenda? Motion is carried. Tonight we have some presentations, so I will turn it over to you, Mr. Poland, to introduce those.
Thank you, Mrs. Collier. Before we start our meeting and our presentations, I just ask that our board and our participants in the audience just take a moment of silence and reflection. We recently lost a bus driver, Terry Roberts, been with the district for a few years, really instrumental part of our organization, and I would just ask that we just kind of take a moment to reflect and remember Terry and her contributions to our district. Thank you for that. So we definitely miss her, and our thoughts and prayers are with her and her family. Tonight we're going to go through our presentation with the directors, and I want to call them up to the podium, and I'm going to pinch hit for Mr. Pinkerton because he's out right now with a school bus. So I'm going to ask Mr. Blankenberg, come on up, Mr. Sebastiano, Ms. Lopez, Mr. Briggs. You're going to go through the presentation, and can we just check the volume on the mics? I'm not sure we're actually being heard. So, but when we get started, I don't know what order we're going in again, but they're going to go through the presentation, and I think it goes without saying, that's better, thank you. It goes without saying, each of these members of our staff play a vital role in making everything happen day to day for us, in terms of the operation, the clean and inviting facilities, the technology, the food service, athletics, and extracurricular events. So really proud of this group in front of you tonight, and I'm actually going to turn it over and let them get started. And I know we've got a few presentations, so we're hoping that we can keep everybody engaged. Thank you. Mr. Blankenberg?
Yes, good evening, Board of Education. On behalf of the directors, I'd like to thank you for allowing us to present our school improvement plans this evening with you. So we're going to go through those, and we developed these with the mission and vision of our district at the forefront, and then our district goal is to strengthen the connections as a supportive community so that each learner can demonstrate growth. And we're going to start right off with technology. And Mr. Briggs.
All right. Good evening. I'm Jeremy Briggs, the new Director of Technology. Our first objective is measurable and operational. It is the Technology Access and Replacement Plan. So by 2026, we will ensure that 100% of students and staff have access to appropriate hardware and software to support teaching, learning, and operations. This is achieved through disciplined execution of the District Technology Replacement Plan. This means that we will implement the District Technology Plan, prioritize the device refresh based on instructional need and life cycle, and maintain sufficient hardware and software access to avoid any instructional disruption. Our second objective is by winter 2026 to support a district-wide technology and science community event with participation from multiple instructional areas and at least 9 external partners aligned to STEM, agritech, or regional industry. To do this, we will support planning with instructional, administrative, and community partners, coordinate participation from higher education, agritech, STEM, and regional employers, and will provide technical and infrastructure support for the event. Our third objective in technology is throughout 2025-2026, we will evaluate emerging technologies, including AI, STEM applications, and automation, and conduct at least one documented pilot or evaluation to inform future instructional and operational planning. And we'll accomplish this by monitoring and evaluating emerging technologies, for example, AI, STEM, or automation related, provide guidance and support for responsible exploration and pilot use, and align future technology decisions with district goals and capacity. And our anticipated outcomes with those 3 objectives are to have reliable access to technology for all students and staff, predictable, sustainable device replacement, increased student and community awareness of STEM and regional career pathways, and improved readiness for future technology planning. I'll be followed by food service.
Good evening. For food service, our first objective is by March 2026, we will fully implement a monthly staff salad bar to promote healthy eating, staff engagement, and build participation and evaluate the feedback. Through this, the tasks are to plan menus and seasonal specials, purchase salad bar equipment and supplies, train staff on the setup and service, and collect staff feedback to adjust our offerings according to seasons. Our second objective is by January 2026 is to establish partnerships with local farmers and vendors to increase the purchase of fresh, locally sourced foods. And the tasks are going to be to identify and reach out to potential local partners, negotiate purchasing, pricing, and agreements, develop promotional materials and highlight the local foods, as well as feature local items in these menus. And as of the completion of January 2026, we have actually secured 2 vendors and started purchasing from them. Our third objective is by April 2026 to implement a structured nutrition education and recognition program for school food service staff. Our tasks are to identify and schedule nutrition education trainings, partner with district wellness staff and community partners, and develop a recognition program, as well as collecting feedback from staff on the impact. Our anticipated outcomes through these objectives is to offer healthy meals not only to our students but staff to increase staff wellness and consistent access to healthy food options, to increase our use of fresh, locally sourced foods in student and staff offerings, enhancing food quality by supporting the local economy and visibility of the school nutrition program, and to also create a sustainable culture of professional growth and appreciation among school food service staff. Next up, facilities.
Good evening. All right. So my first objective is working towards a safer school by maintaining facilities to the highest standards of reliability, cleanliness, and security. The tasks, we will be holding monthly building walks with head custodial personnel to investigate and remediate areas of concern. All windows and doors will be numbered on the exterior to better assist first responders in case of need. We'll also conduct asset plotting, which we have done, for each building to help first responders identify areas of concern, such as where gas comes into the building, water hookups, stuff like that. Objective 2 is to build a focused, unified team that delivers quality work with efficiency and timeliness. We'll hold weekly maintenance and monthly head custodial meetings to address any concerns from staff members. We will monitor and prioritize incident IQ tickets in order of importance. The last
Keep going.
The last objective is to continue to modernize and enhance learning in common spaces across the district to better support students and staff. These are a couple of projects we've done last summer and then just during the last December break, Christmas break. We'll train staff to be able to handle all phases of building, repair, and remodel. We will also seek outside training to familiarize ourselves with all building components. The anticipated outcomes are a cleaner, safer learning and working environment, higher quality work that delivers faster and more consistent results, increased focus and motivation with students, and a greater sense of belonging and school pride.
So I'm going to fill in for Bill, as I said earlier. So objective 1 is to optimize school bus routes, balancing student loads to make sure buses are filled efficiently, reducing the number of buses on the road. So by doing this, we're going to review existing AM and PM routes and then identify underutilized buses, uneven student loads, and overlapping routes. The hope is to rebalance student loads and consolidate runs. We've implemented that this year, and I know in terms of every afternoon when we look at the buses, we're always looking at our numbers to see if there's a way we can get more students on those runs to be a little bit more efficient. So the transportation software is really helping out with that, and then Bill's eye with respect to ways that we might prioritize things. And he's also has the ability to pivot in a moment's notice based on the fact that he grew through the ranks as a driver in our district and kind of sat in those same seats, and it has pretty much been on every run in our district, either as a driver or a monitor. Objective 2 is to optimize our school bus drivers and staff by training drivers for additional route coverage during the school day, creating a flexible substitute pool for coverage. We're doing that by cross-training drivers for multi-route and midday coverage to address prior hesitation with unfamiliar routes. Drivers will be intentionally cross-trained on multiple routes and types of vehicles. It's not uncommon for a driver to start their day in one of our SUVs transporting a few students, and then midday pick up a large bus and then go out and drive. And that's really paying big dividends for people. And as he says in his tasks, really reducing the anxiety around knowing where to drop a student off. The next objective, or task rather, would be to establish and maintain flexible substitute driver pool. That's an area that's a work in progress. We do have a full staff of drivers. We're just not able to give them a complementary substitute pool yet. We have a few consistent, but we'd like to grow that number throughout the rest of the year. And then the last task with that is to implement scheduling, coverage, and performance tracking through weekly and monthly staff meetings. One of the things I'm proud of with our assistant principals and our transportation department is they meet monthly to go over patterns and tendencies and behaviors and what they're starting to see from bus referrals. It's established a better rapport between the building staff and our transportation staff. A lot of times, most of the problems that we had dealt with in the past are mitigated by the fact that they're actually going down there, meeting with our drivers on a regular basis. And the drivers have the opportunity to bring topics to the assistant principals that they want shared out with the administration, and vice versa. The assistant principals are able to go down and work with Bill and his team on trainings and staff development that they feel is appropriate when it comes down to behavior interventions and things of that nature. The third objective is to establish a team of certified school bus driver trainers. This is going to improve safety, consistency, and retention by ensuring that new drivers are trained to district standards and veteran staff receive ongoing professional development. I mentioned Terry earlier at the beginning of the meeting. That was one of the things she did for us. A lot of our newer staff have been trained in-house by our staff, the 19A certification. That's been a huge benefit to us. A couple years ago, we implemented a onboarding process for people that were looking to become school bus drivers. So Bill wants to enhance that by growing the number of driver trainers. standardize the new driver training and onboarding process, and then to implement the ongoing professional development for veteran drivers. I think the board may recall last year we were interviewed by the National Transportation Highway Board, the safety board, because our onboarding process is about 50 hours worth of intense professional development before our drivers start riding and driving on a regular run. So he's done a remarkable job with that. And the anticipated outcomes through all of these tasks are the more balanced student loads across routes, improving efficiency and maximizing bus capacity, increasing driver confidence and willingness to cover unfamiliar routes, improve consistency and quality, and the new driver training aligned with the district standards and the New York State 19A requirements, increasing driver retention and job satisfaction.
Thank you, Mr. Pullen. Athletics, our first objective is we wanted to implement 3 structured initiatives this year. One is how to become a better teammate, goal setting, and some team leader training, just to help our athletes prepare for the rigors of their lives and also life after high school. And that first little picture there, the cost of being a good teammate, I love that slide. You know, it doesn't cost you anything to be a good teammate, but boy, we got to work on that some days for sure. Task. So we wanted to create some resources for coaches and our student athletes that they can easily use and discuss, not only with me, but independently. It was interesting. Monday morning, there was a Section 5 AD's professional development. 2 presenters on how to develop character and good teammates with each other. So it's like, wow, perfect opportunity. Some more resources to use. So I was glad I went and got a couple more things. We want our students to participate in at least 2 of those initiatives this school year. And we had our first ever unified bowling team where we really put these initiatives to practice. Second objective is to maintain our New York State Public High School School of Excellence. So that's 75% of our varsity teams being scholar athletes. So we've got that recognition 3 years running, and obviously we want to make it a 4th year. So some things we're doing, we're monitoring GPAs of our students, making sure students, coaches, parents understand what the criteria is for being a scholar athlete. When there's some academic struggles, we're providing some support for the students. And then when they achieve those, we're going to recognize and celebrate those opportunities and those achievements. Objective 3, we want our youth and rec students participating in more opportunities. And then our older students also doing some stuff outside of the season to help foster some growth for them. So some tasks there. We're going to track the participation rates. We want a 10% growth for the youth recreation. We want to encourage our coaching staff to help get involved with the youth programs, and we want to provide off-season skill development training for our older students. Our anticipated outcomes, we want to show a 10% increase with our youth and rec sports for the school year. Again, we want 75% of our student athletes to participate in at least 2 of those initiatives, being a better good teammate, goal setting, and being a team leader. And we want to maintain our School of Excellence again, and we want 90% of our students, again, participating in 2 of those initiatives. So those are our anticipated outcomes. Thanks for your time. Do you have any questions for us?
Anyone have anything to comment or to ask about? Linda?
In one of the first ones with technology, there was a photo that has a drone, and I wondered if that's something that, I know BOCES has a drone program, and I'm kind of excited that maybe we'll go in that direction too for kids. There's so many applications and different things, and
Do you want to answer that?
I know that in Rome, the town east of Syracuse, they have a drone hub there for the Air Force. There's an actual a lot of startups that are there that are actually developing technology for the agricultural industry, the defense industry, and multiple other sectors. I want to reach out to some of those folks and try to see if they can come out and do demonstrations and show some of the kids like what's out there in the area, just again, so they can see that it's not, just in California or just, a million miles away, that we got it right down the road. But again, I'm trying to focus on the agri-tech side, but.
Yep, no, it'd be good to partner with Mr. LaValle, because I know he does that as well. So I think with our tech classes also, that'd be a great opportunity to bring some people in and network with Mr. LaValle's class and, achieve both goals at once. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Travis?
I just think it's exciting, food service for offering the salad to the staff. Now, are salads an option for our students every day?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect, thank you. That's great for the staff.
That is good.
How's the vending machine going? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we had procured the reimbursable vending machine at the start of the year, and it's been filled with all pretty much the same cold options that we serve in our lines regularly. The bento boxes like you guys get, except the ones in the machine are compliant. And so we have those. We have salads, we have wraps, different kinds of wraps. PBJs. So as you see in the machine, it's fully filled. So if they don't want to go through the lunch line, they can grab it right from there, because some kids don't have a lunch it fit into their schedule. They decide later on that they want to eat lunch. They come in late, they can get their lunch, breakfast options. And then also after school, so after school hours, all of our athletes that are here in the afternoon, instead of them running to McDonald's, they can go to the machine and they're at the same cost as if they were to purchase a double during lunch. So they have that option to go there and get the same kind of options. Cool. So.
That was going to be my question, so thank you.
And students are using it.
Yes, staff are using it too.
So, and they just to clarify, they do have lunch scheduled into their day, but you know how students can be. Some adults are like this as well, where they get preoccupied and they want to go through. So, and then sometimes superintendents will go down the hall for an Uncrustable at the end of the day as well.
Raspberry.
Yes, raspberry, honey, Nutella. We're still holding out for Nutella.
No Nutella. Yeah, so we just started currently getting in the raspberry Uncrustables, because they now make those with the wheat, and also the honey option too. So we have grape, strawberry, raspberry, and honey.
So this ideally would be something that eventually expands to the other two buildings as well. So we know when students are out for appointments and they may come in after breakfast has been done, they can use their student ID. If they're leaving for an appointment, they can go to the vending machine and use their student ID and get a lunch as well. So our goal would ultimately be to have this available for all three buildings eventually. I think that we're doing a lot of great things, and again, my compliments to this team, the administrators, Mr. Pinkerton, who just came back in from the bus. There's a lot of good things happening to support our children pre-K through 12. And, Mark and Rita didn't mention this, but many times when our students go on the road for a long athletic contest, to have a well-balanced, nutritious meal that's provided to our student athletes so that they don't have to worry about having the money to go to McDonald's or Burger King or anywhere else. That's taken care of for them, and that's a stressor that's removed for their family. So really good things that are happening. So good job, all of you. Thank you. And then Jeremy, the evidence that he showed you of the staff rooms, that complements everything else that's happening here. It's just really nice to see everything coming together.
Yep, thank you.
Yes,
Just a comment that I know you have taken steps to expose kids to different types of cultural foods too, which is nice, because they can discover, gee, I like these things. So that's good
Absolutely.
too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all you do. This is wonderful.
So moving on, I'm going to ask that Mrs. Hake and Mr. Stopka come up, and they're going to do a quick presentation about a proposal that I want the board to consider.
Okay, I
We're-
gotta find him so I can share the screen.
We're going to talk about the math committee, and there's a recommendation. So tonight, we're presenting information to you just so that you can see why they're making a recommendation. This is for information gathering, questions and answers tonight. Nicole and Crystal will join in as well because the math committee really is all encompassing, but specific to the elementary school, we're going to make a recommendation to you that we want you to consider, and we would ask the board to act on it on the 26th of February. So once they get everything situated with the screen, I'll actually turn it over to them so that they.
Let John in. He wants to see the screens. He's there, so I was trying to share. Yeah, there he is. Okay. You gotta turn our video on.
So
You're welcome. That's fine. There you go. You should be good. So it's up here. It's underneath down here. I can't see it.
So I'm going to turn it over to Ben and Karen now that that's squared away. And, we'll just ask that you ask the questions at the end of the presentation. And the conclusion's actually going to be when Nicole and Crystal are done, and then you can ask all four of them questions. So go ahead.
Okay, good evening. So we started this work with the math committee about 2 years ago. We knew we needed to make some adjustments, and Mike said form a committee. So we did. We're going to sum up 2 years of hard work by 16 dedicated team members in these slides.
As with all of our initiatives at the elementary school, we really worked throughout this entire 2-year process to make sure that we were anchoring all of our work within the district mission and vision.
So through our school leadership team, our SLT, and staff feedback, we analyzed our math assessment data and our standard alignments and atlas at our Tier 1 meetings. We noticed a need for a more aligned, structured math program for grades K through 4. So this started this 2-year process. The math committee was formed where we looked at to assess our current resources to see if there were other programs that may fit our needs, which brought us to the pilot program that we will discuss.
As part of that process of identifying our needs and our available resources, we partnered with Teresa Patchen from BOCES, who came alongside us to help us identify 3 programs for review. ZERN, which is our current program, Eureka Math Squared, and iReady Math were the 3 that the committee pursued.
So first, our current program for the last 5 years has been ZERN. So we have some key features. So it is aligned to the New York State math standards. There is a digital component for grades K through 6, as well as a conceptual development, so a teacher lesson, and then that's hands-on for our younger learners. But there are some challenges. There was no UPK program, and the kindergarten program is not as consistent or aligned with the 1 through 6 program. We did find pacing and sequential needs with the units, so they had to be adjusted so that the students mastered skills prior to taking the New York State assessments. And there was a strong digital reliance. So it was 30 minutes with the teacher and then 30 minutes independently on the computer, which is not always ideal for younger learners or elementary students. And just we did find the lack of differentiation in intervention materials when there were gaps to fill.
Through some structured field work, we were able to investigate Eureka Math Squared. We were able to observe an entire lesson from start to finish, as well as debrief with some building administrators who were several years into their implementation of the program. Here again, we identified that the program itself is aligned to New York State standards, and it does provide opportunities for hands-on learning as well. Some of the challenges that were identified were gaps within the program that required supplemental materials, as well as a limited online component. Those 2 pieces really showed up in intervention and the lack of intervention materials. There was only 1 intervention lesson assigned per unit, which required supplemental materials being brought in, ironically, from iReady. Combined, that really stressed a lot of the staff out and impacted staff buy-in holistically.
So then we have our current pilot, which is iReady Math. It is aligned to the New York State standards, but it is also the one of 3 programs that are aligned to the 8 math practices for New York State. It is also aligned to the New York State assessments as well as our current benchmark, iReady benchmarks. There is a strong professional development component, both in person and virtual, which provides really explicit training for teachers. Each lesson has built-in intervention tools and lessons to support students when reteaching is necessary. And just through the pilot program and talking to students and our observations, we have seen a high student engagement with the iReady Math. We already use the iReady pathways that are what I need win time, so that is also aligned and personalized for each student. And we know rolling out any new program would come some challenges. So with this change is always staff implementation for change, and just we would address that through professional development. And iReady does not yet have a UPK math program. So our math committee recommendation is the iReady Math.
In thinking of our anticipated outcomes, first and foremost would be increased student growth and proficiency with the math practices. That's ultimately what we're seeking. Based off the pilot program, we have seen an increase in student engagement, so we would anticipate that that would expand with full program implementation as well. This would also provide us some tools to provide consistency across grade levels as well as vertically within the school, and really strengthen our data-informed decision-making processes that we have in place through MTSS, through a lot of our other current structures, which would have informed flexible intervention groups and overall provide us an alignment to our assessment portfolio.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for us?
Will this help prepare our kids for taking state tests on the computer?
Yes.
Will this, it seems to be a stumbling block for us.
It is, especially with the younger students where they do have computer screen fatigue. But yes, so there are tests that they can take on paper, and they can take the assessments on the computer as well. So they have paper, pencil, and digital. And we did find that some of the questions on the New York State assessments, when we looked at the questions, they mirrored almost identically to the New York State tests. Some of the questions looked just the same, just with a little bit of a different numbers or spin.
And what will you do for the pre-K?
So the pre-K, right now, they use the standards. The curriculum's always driven by the standards. So they take the UPK standards and they do a teacher-created piece.
I see.
They have found that looking at the kindergarten iReady, they were able to implement their own sort of version of that for now. So they take the standards and they create the materials to meet their students' needs.
Good, thank you.
So as Karen said at the beginning, 16 members of the math committee at the elementary. It's the first time in a while where we brought a large group together just to look at a particular curricula or area of curriculum. But I also want to give Nicole and Crystal an opportunity to share too, because when we looked at our math results, it wasn't in isolation. We looked across all grade levels, and we know we started with iReady a few years ago at the middle school, so while Crystal didn't have an official math committee for the last 2 years, they've been digging into this work just as much as the elementary and the high school. So I just want to ask that you come up and join Ben and Karen, you know, so that you guys give a chance to highlight and overview what you've been working on over the last few years and how the recommendation that the elementary committee's making complements what we're doing with the middle school and high school.
Put up our presentation.
Oh, that's the one I shared yesterday with you. I'm sorry. Is it in
That's
Google?
Why don't you just speak to it? You can't go cold?
Yes.
See, I didn't print it.
It's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and just speak to it.
All right. So 3 years ago at the middle school, we actually began working with the Wayne Finger Lakes BOCES math coach to closely examine our math curriculum and instructional practices. Our goal was very clear. We wanted to make sure that our curriculum was aligned vertically, engaging, and rigorous for our students, while also meeting them where they're at. So through this collaboration with the math department, we made thoughtful strategic adjustments to strengthen our instruction, improve vertical alignment, and provide more targeted support for our learners. This work was instrumental in putting us on a positive pathway, as reflected in the growth we have seen in our New York State math assessments results and our Ready benchmark data. We wanted to be sure that we are still on the correct pathway. So this year, we actually had Teresa Patchen come in and meet with our middle school math department and our instructional coach to conduct a deeper analysis of our curriculum. Together, they reviewed our grade level scope and sequences, our vertical alignments, and they examined all of those practices to ensure our instructional practices and curriculum continue to build coherently from year to year. Through this analysis, we've received exceptional feedback. She felt we had quality scope and sequences, we had strong vertical alignments across grade levels, grades 5 through 8. We had deep standards-based instructional knowledge, highly collaborative team culture as well. Some student achievement trends, we continue to make measurable growth with our iReady benchmarks and our New York State math assessments. We did see a decent amount of growth from grades 5 through 8, really seeing the most growth in grade 8, which really speaks to the work that we're doing. Instructional consistency and alignment are translating into stronger student outcomes, so that was very important for us and the feedback that she provided. Some instructional focus areas this year for us include think alouds for problem solving. Teachers will model their thinking to help students understand why strategies work, not just how. Explicit math vocabulary, continued use of word walls, vocabulary notebooks, and math language to strengthen comprehension. Problem-based instruction first. New skills will be introduced through rich word problems, allowing students to use prior knowledge before formal instruction. And alternatives to keywords. A shared resource bank, asynchronous PD courses will be utilized to support students in interpreting problems based on meaning rather than relying on keywords. So it was a very good practice for us to work with the BOCES coach once again, and we're very happy with the feedback we received.
Okay, so similar to the elementary and middle school, we formed our committee with a very clear focus to improve student performance in mathematics and to ensure that all of our students have access to multiple pathways. So as Regents examinations and state standards continue to evolve, we need to be responsive and recognize that we need to realign. So there are new assessments in Algebra 1, Geometry, and this year in Algebra 2. So we started our work with the math committee last year with Teresa, and she met with our math teachers, special education teacher, and our counselor to really look at our curriculum. What are we doing? So based on the standards, how do we realign and look at those priority standards? So doing that work last year, we were able to look at a 3-year analysis of our scores to see where the strengths were and where the areas of need. So we were able to begin that realignment last year. We also visited various districts within the Wayne Finger Lakes area to see what programs they're using, how their curriculum is adapted, and what are those really exceptional instructional strategies. So last year we were able to do all of that, and that led us to our work this summer, in which we were able to realign all of the Algebra 2, and Geometry standards, really recognize our priority standards, and create new benchmark assessments that are aligned to that. So we're really hopeful when our students take those Regents examinations in June, we see that growth. What it also strengthened was that vertical alignment. So not only just that 6, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, but through all of our courses. So what are those essential standards that the students need to know and be able to do, and then help us recognize how we can best intervene. This summer, we also focused on our math intervention and restructuring math intervention to better meet those needs. So what are those instructional practices? How do we make it engaging? How do we monitor student progress? So that was the work this summer. That continued into the school year with our work with Teresa, and we did a book study with our math teachers to really look at what does high school math look like. So it's not just that pencil and paper that we were used to in high school, but how can it be more hands-on and more applicable to our students' lives? So through that work, we have more practices in the classroom. We've looked at the mathematical practices and embedded that into our teaching. So it's really a cohesive look. So if you look at pre-K through 12th grade, we are now better aligned. We have an understanding of what students need at the lower levels and also what they'll need in the high school. And our goal here in the high school is to really prepare students so that they can take 4 years of math while they're here in high school. So we're really proud of our progress that we've made, and we really are committed to continuing this work.
So we just wanted to take a minute to highlight that work, that all 3 buildings are moving in the same direction. The vocabulary, the consistency, the fidelity of the programming. Crystal mentioned it, a few years ago, we really started to revamp our approach to the curriculum with credit-bearing courses at the middle school. And so that was intentional. We said if we can bring students over as freshmen, rising freshmen coming over with high school credits, then Nicole and her team can start really looking at hand scheduling freshmen so that they're getting the interventions earlier. The other piece that Nicole and I met on the other day, which this math work starting with Karen and Ben coming forward, is, we're really starting to see that there's a need for our students to take 4 years of math and science in the high school. So as much as we want to promote credit-bearing courses at the middle school so that students come in and they're on the right trajectory, now we're starting to squeeze our focus towards the 4 years of math and 4 years of science, because what we know is for students that are going into work, they need those literacy and numeracy skills in the workforce. But those students that are going off to a college pathway or the military, they're going to need to have a skill set that they can rely on, because that 1 year gap is really starting to show itself in college. And the number of students that are taking remedial courses in math or ELA is really problematic. And then obviously we know with the sciences, there's such a shortage of science or students working in the industry of sciences that's going to continue to be a focus for us. So while Karen and Ben bring the initiative forward, Crystal and Joe carry it on, and then Lisa and Nicole put the finishing touches on it, we're still actively working on resolving the issue at hand, which is making sure our students have high quality instruction throughout their time with us and high quality materials to align with that. So thank you all. Are there any other questions?
I just wanted to thank everybody. The 16 team members at the elementary school that worked on the new program change. I know it probably was hard looking at the Zern, Eureka, and iReady Math, all 3 different units, and seeing which one was going to actually work best for you. And I think it's great that Teresa Patchen worked with all 3 schools. She knows what each building is using now, and probably had a little help aligning all 3 buildings. So thank you.
I had something. I have a question and a comment too. I appreciate how intentional everyone is being on. Let's see where we can improve, how we're doing. So I appreciate that. That's an effort that you're all making. So great job on that. But I just want a comparison question, quick. You said Zern was 30 minutes with the teacher and then 30 minutes online. What does iReady have in those comparisons? Out of curiosity.
The good thing about iReady, it's different every day.
Oh, okay.
So the first day of any new lesson is like an overview day where it's like whole group, and then there's some small group instruction, and then the next day revisits those skills, builds on that, and that looks a little different. It's a little more small group instruction, and then continue. The last day, which is great, is called their reflect piece. That is where they look at all of the exit tickets or anything from the week, and they have activities and resources that they do, and the teachers pull on that 5th day the students and help refine those skills.
Okay.
So it was kind of neat that it was different every day. I think that's why it's so engaging for the students.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like it.
How does it meet those upper level kids though?
So
how's it, it's individualized, I know.
Turn your mic on. Oops, sorry.
yes. Yeah, so the pathways, so when a student takes the iReady benchmark, if they're above grade level, then their pathway gives them work based off their benchmark. So they will then have that individualized piece. There is a good small group instruction, especially in the kindergarten through 3rd grade piece of iReady. So what one group is doing to that skill, another group may be doing it just a little bit differently.
And one other thing, I noticed none of these programs have a UPK component. UPK is not required, so they're not going to have one more than likely. So it is, I mean, it's great. You've just look at the standards, figure it out, and go from there. It's kind of like when we were all working, that's what you did. So
Yes.
good.
And they are able to use some of the iReady pieces for kindergarten
Sure.
to help with the UPK.
Wait, look ahead, see what they need, and figure
Yep,
it out. Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'm always concerned with the students who they're introduced to a new skill or a new piece of the program, and they don't get it, and the teacher has to move on. So what happens for the kids who don't get it because they're really not ready to move on, and yet so they just fall farther and farther behind. What happens for them? Is that part of this program? Is there?
So there are one of the reasons we liked iReady is we have a win time, a math win time. So they have their regular math, and then they have a what I need time. So that is when the math interventionist comes and she works tier 3 with students, and that is where it's more individualized. So every single lesson, what we liked, if they notice on their exit ticket or in their work, the student didn't understand a certain skill, right in the lesson they can click exactly. If they didn't understand this, here's the lesson from, maybe it's a 2nd grade lesson, from 1st grade that they would need this skill to master before. They can actually click right on the lesson and deliver the lesson to that group of students.
We do the same thing in the middle school as well, so the students are really used to that. It's great because we have what I need win at the middle school, and we have math skills as well to be able to provide those interventions to students. We're also, all of us, working with our teachers to continue to work on embedding interventions in the classroom in those daily lessons as well.
And then what the impact will be on the high school, we have the data from New York State assessment. So we want multiple data points. We have our New York State assessment data. We also have now the iReady data. So the 9th graders I get to see their iReady data. And as we continue to go, we'll continue to see their iReady data. So we'll know those essential standards that they may not have mastered. And in our intervention, we can look at, do they need to master these standards right now in order to move on to Algebra 2 or to geometry? And then how do we intervene? So that's how our math intervention works when we're looking at those specific standards. So this is only going to improve instruction at the high school the more that we continue to be consistent with our programming.
And we found when we do our vertical alignments throughout buildings, like our 4th grade math teachers meet with 5th grade math teachers, they have found that, they discuss the standards that the 5th grade teachers are seeing that the 4th graders may need to brush up on or improve on, and where they need to go from there. And so I think that just kind of helps us all be aligned that way too. So then the 4th graders know, I have to work on this also.
Thank you.
Just a comment, I think it's great that the what I need starts so early because then they're all used to it, they know that it's there and it's part of what happens. It's not. So that's great.
Well, the consistency from building to building is key.
Absolutely.
Good.
Great.
So I have a question.
Yes, John.
I was wondering, how is the staff instructed in a new way of teaching? Is there a unit that the company puts out?
So professional development wise?
Yes.
Yep.
So all of our teachers who piloted received 18 hours of training from iReady that is both virtual, and they came in person in August and on our October PD day. For our March professional development day, the teachers who have not yet been trained but are going to implement iReady will get an initial 6 hours, and then again they'll have virtual and the same in-person training for the summer and next year as well. So that was one of the reasons we really liked the iReady, and the current program really didn't have a professional development, but it really makes sure everybody's receiving the same training.
Our instructional coaches are also key with helping provide that professional development and going into the classrooms and providing that modeling and teaching with them as well.
Great, thank you.
The intent is to implement this for the fall.
Yes,
Right.
fully.
So the board will make that decision in the next meeting, and if that's the case, then yes, we will go ahead and proceed with alignment with PD schedules, making sure the calendar's in place, and then trying to implement that work as soon as possible so that it's laid out K through 4, and that really will take a large part in terms of the commitment from the team. But the intent is, yes, that if you give us the blessing on the 26th, we'll move on it.
Which is why we're doing it this early, so that you'd have time to implement.
That and the fact that we want you to know during the budget cycle, we're being very intentional with our spending. So when we do these things, you see that the 3 services are scrutinized, but there's also a comparison behind the scenes, and then there's a narrative that goes along with it. And again, this is the first major purchase with respect to curriculum in the last 7 years. I think Collaborative Classroom was the last major purchase that we put. So we've done iReady in pockets. We've put in DataMate in pockets. This is a major investment, so we want you to be comfortable with that as well. To Cinda's point, because when you implement a program like this, it's going to take us a little while to assess it. We see the positive results at the middle school moving forward. We're closing a gap while we're trying to stay current. So making sure that everybody that gets instruction in iReady math at the elementary level, we know that we're monitoring that over time. And I really like that Friday, that data-informed work, or whether it's Friday or not, the end of the unit where they're pulling the data from the classroom and then targeting those specific strengths and those deficiencies, and kind of really trying to foster that standards-based mindset so that we do know where our kids need support, and we do know how to support them through WIN and differentiated instruction.
When we implement a new program, all the teachers get trained, and but over the years, teachers come and go. And when new teachers come in, they really are at a big disadvantage because they haven't received that initial training that is very focused and intense. Do we do that for new teachers coming in?
Yes, yep, we absolutely do. So we have teacher leaders in our building that know this curriculum inside and out, as well as our instructional coaches. So when we have those new teachers come on board, they spend time with them, teaching them just as they would if the program professional development people came in themselves.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really helpful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the
Sounds,
hard work.
it sounds good.
So while Ms. St. John gets the next presentation up, as I just alluded to, it is budget season. We start looking at our numbers in November. We do have an initial proposal out from our governor. Mr. DeBasi is going to go through and reference some of the challenges. And tonight, what he's going to show you is just a maintenance-based budget. So comparison year to year, just hear the mechanics of it with no real information other than the 1% that the governor's proposed. So it's imperative for us to know we're going out looking at it with literally the only 1% increase. If that were to occur, he'll walk you through some of the challenges. He'll walk you through some of the particulars. And as I've said earlier, you know, once we start getting concrete information, the work really begins. And our deficit is real. We know the grant funding is going away in many cases, and we know a lot of the things that we rely on from our taxpayers have to be scrutinized, because every one of us is feeling the effects of our gas and electric bills. Every one of us is feeling the effects of the grocery store and the cost increase. And what we prescribe that we will do every year is that we will go out with a fiscally prudent budget for our community to keep our programs and our students' best interest intact. So I'm going to turn it over to him and let him go ahead and get started, and I'll jump in as needed.
Thank you. For the record, I did ask to go first tonight, but was told to get everybody awake for the other presentations. So I'm bad at cleanup. The story is going to be, for those that have been here for a while, you're going to hear the same story again that you've heard for years. The reason being, nothing's really changed. For a high-need rural district, that's a people business. That's very dependent on state aid. So the story every year is very consistent. I wanted to spruce things up, but it kind of falls right in line what I've seen for probably my entire career, except for maybe 1 or 2 years, where we actually got a legitimate, reasonable bump in state aid, and we're able to do things and add things. But for the most part, the districts are scrutinizing their budgets every year, trying to get them to balance.
Yeah.
Budget guidelines, Board of Education goals in both are educationally and fiscally sound. The budget shall reflect prudent financial planning while balancing needs for all students. Instructional goals, improve technology and facilities while minimizing the impact on taxpayers. Budget process is collaborative. There's consideration for all the budget factors, state aid, tax cap, major costs, such as contractual increases, health insurance increases, student program needs, retirement systems, including with a prudent balanced budget. There's going to be a lot of work to get there this year. Budget goals: do what is best for our students now and into the future, and be fiscally responsible in the process. And it's very important we balance current needs with future needs. Like, we can take care of our problems probably pretty simply this year, but that will impact future boards and future budgets. Minimize our budget-to-budget increase. Obviously, stay within the tax cap limit. Limit negative impact on programming. I think historically, a lot of times we like to write no negative impact on programming, but I'm not sure we can do that this year, so that's why I changed the word to limit. Maintain our bus replacement schedule and continue our capital outlay projects. Capital outlay is, if we spend $100,000 on the building, it's aided the following year at about 85%. So we got to keep doing that, keep getting the aid. It's the same with our building project, so people don't get confused. That aid that we're getting for that building project can only be spent on buildings. It can't be used to balance our budget. If we don't spend it on our buildings, we don't get it. Challenges: the governor's aid proposal. A whopping 1% on foundation aid, $151,000 on a $37 million budget. We're not going very far on that.
No.
Contractual increases for all our employees, retirement rates, which is this is the percentage that they charge on our salaries that go into the retirement system. Looks like a reduction this year on TRS, which is the teacher retirement system, but the New York State Employees Retirement System, which is all support staff, not certified employees, is going to go up 1%. Not sure why they're different. Usually they trend both going down or both going up, but different people are investing the money in different ways in those two retirement systems. Unfortunately, those rates are gonna be applied to higher salaries. So you think you're catching a break, but you're not necessarily going to, because the salary that we're gonna be paying those rates on is also increasing. Health insurance rates. A broken record, you've heard this a million times in the last 10 years. It just keeps going up. We have Blue Point plans, which are going up 12.5%. Healthy Blue plans going up 14.5%, and a composite increase of about 13.84 based on the number of contracts we have in each of those two plans. So when you're looking at 14% on health insurance, which is a big number, that's a huge expense. And that 150,000 ain't even covering that. The budget formula, I like this slide. Tax cap and minimum state aid increase, plus inflation, plus contractual increases, plus health insurance and other costs will equal a projected shortfall. And what that means is our revenues are gonna be less than our expenses. Revenue projection number one, state sources. This comes from a government proposal. For the expense-driven aids such as transportation and BOCES and excess cost, the governor is basing some of those on historical expenses, and some of those projections are based on the budget that we put into the state, and they assume we spend all the money, i.e. transportation. We have a transportation budget. It's a guide. We don't necessarily spend every penny that's in that transportation budget, but for aid purposes, projections, they assume we do. So we have to lower that number a little bit. I think I mentioned it last year. The budget process used to be you underestimate your revenues, overestimate your expenses, and you're always going to work out fine. Nowadays, we scrutinize our expenses and we scrutinize the revenue. So it's a balancing act, and it gets closer and closer every year, and that makes business officials very uncomfortable. I like an easy answer to a test. These are hard answers. Local sources, not assuming any tax levy increase at this point, but we do have one increase, other unclassified revenue, and that's because this year we combined with BOCES to offer tutoring in district, and we have other districts bring their students to us. Oh. What did I do? Hit a button. Let me go back to it. Thank you. Here we go. So now we're offering a BOCES program. NRW runs it for BOCES, and we have other districts come to us for tutoring. Great thing about it too, though, is we're also tutoring our own students. So in essence, BOCES charges us for our tutoring and gives us the aid on it, and also pays us to do the tutoring for all the schools. So we had an expense there, just looking at ourselves before the revenue from other schools. We had an expense we weren't getting aid on. Now we have an expense and we're getting BOCES aid on. Great program.
Andrew, is that a COSER?
It is a COSER.
Okay.
Tutoring COSER. That's where BOCES is basically contracting with North Rose to provide tutoring services. Because we had a program in-house that other districts don't have. And they kept trying to come to us. And the superintendent found a great idea. Charge them and everybody gets BOCES aid. So there's our, oh, let me go back. I skipped over. Building aid, I should point this out. Building aid's way up, but that's because the building expense is way up. So don't get excited. That aid matches our expense. And actually, the aid might be a little bit higher than our expense because for state aid reasons, we're getting a little more building aid than we're expending in debt service. So that's our total revenue projection. Number one, maintenance-based budget, we're at $39,924. Compared to our adopted budget, that's an increase of $2.7 million, or 7.47%.
Andrew, the building aid is expended one year and then it comes in the following year. Is that how that works?
That's normal for a capital capital expense, like the capital outlay.
Mhm.
What's happening here is the timing of our revenue and the expense, they happen in the same year.
Oh.
Because for debt service, the payments can get too big, that if they delayed it a year, a district could be stuck holding a $2 million bill.
I
And
see.
not get the aid to the following year, so they're aided together. Major increases. I said we're a people business. Contractual salaries and benefits. BOCE services, minor increase. Debt service, that's an increase there. That's part of that tax offset you saw earlier. And special education tuition other BOCE, to other districts other than BOCES. $2.7 million, and that's basically your entire budget increase right there. Is a balanced budget? No. Projected shortfall, approximately $2 million at this point. I've seen better, I've seen worse. We just gotta work the problem. Options to address the shortfall. Decrease your appropriations, increase your revenue, easier said than done. And that comes in the way of state aid, other sources of grants, and taxes. So next step, lobby efforts in Albany, increase foundation aid to high need rural districts. 1% is just unacceptable. And I think the government is getting distracted in trying to fund other things more so than the public schools. Identify budget reduction options, review all our revenue sources, and continue to identify grant opportunities. Important dates, I listed them there. I highlighted the ones that I think are important to the board, which is we have a workshop scheduled for April 2nd. April 9th, we have to adopt the budget, and May 19th, the budget vote and school board election. Now, April 1st, they don't meet that deadline very often.
No, they don't.
So we're stuck making a budget without all the information. If you remember last year, and I probably should have pointed out on our revenue, we thought we might get more state aid when we adopted our budget. So we included about $200,000 in additional state aid. It never came. So that's a reduction. Next year's aid projection, I had to reduce other sources by $200,000. So that went against our projected aid revenue for next year. And doing what's right for children. Can't forget why we're here. That's it. Any questions?
I anticipated some issue, but I don't think I anticipated $2 million.
That's a combination
It's
of
quite a bit.
when they don't increase your foundation aid
Yeah.
at all, like that should knock that number down a little bit. And the no tax levy increase, we're gonna assume there's gonna be a tax levy increase.
Yeah.
But I can't say for sure. And then we'll see where we are and how big the problem is.
Okay.
Just to comment about, there's no equity between rural schools and other schools that have deeper pockets, more industry, more tax monies coming in. And I know that's something that our area legislators really push hard for, but, we haven't made great progress there. But if they even were able to, there was a recommendation made from, 2 years ago from the intensive look. And one of them was that one of the factors that should be taken into place is the number of students per square mile, so that urban and rural, that discrepancy becomes more noticeable. Of course, that didn't happen, but it would have been helpful.
We try to get an equitable, free and appropriate education to all kids in New York State. But if you look, there's definitely haves and have-nots. It's very easy to see. I think years ago we looked at what Long Island School offering Chinese. We can't find a foreign language teacher in upstate New York.
Yeah.
So there is a discrepancy between what the definition of equitable is across the state.
Yeah, the districts with the deep pockets, you know, they're able to use state aid for the extras, where the rural districts use the state aid for what we really need, and we just don't have any play to drop any of it. It's very difficult.
Yeah, the schools with most of their income comes through the tax levy, they can easily handle a small increase.
Yeah.
But when we're 70+%, depending on state aid, it's really hard for small
Yeah.
businesses.
Well, Andrew, we will just expect you to work some magic here and figure it out, yes.
And I think that's the piece that, you know, he does bring a great deal of experience, and our team is looking at this from a collaborative approach. So as he said at the beginning, you know, the outlook is not great, but we'll do the work and we'll give you something that's prudent and fiscally sound for our community. So thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to public access. Tina, is there anyone who'd like to speak to the board tonight?
There's no one.
No one? All right. Reports and correspondence, we usually do a full-blown reports and correspondence on the first meeting of a month. This is our second, isn't it?
No, it's our first.
Is it our first? Oh.
That's how long the budget presentation went.
Because we meet the 26th Tuesday.
Oh dear. I don't know. I think the month is flying by, I guess. I don't know. Okay, well, then we will do what we must do. Casey, do you have anything to report from the elementary school as liaison?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so from the elementary school, they're excited to welcome incoming 3PK, 4PK, and kindergarten families to their information night on February 23rd in the elementary school auditorium. This is a good chance to meet teachers, learn about their programs, and get assistance with registration information. PE night is always one of their best attended events. UPK through 4th grade students come to the high school gym to show their families some of the skills they have learned in PE. This is run by their two fabulous PE teachers, Mrs. King and Mr. Baker. And Cubby Club is February 27th. They will celebrate students who demonstrated the NRW expectation do my best and showed improvement, and those who showed improvement in reading, math, and special subjects.
Great. Thank you. Leslie, do you have anything from the middle school?
I do. So they just had their annual spelling bee on Monday, on February 9th, and it was grades 4 through 8 who could participate. And the first place winner was actually a 4th grader, Mabel Cahoon, with the second place winner, a 5th grader, Jason, oh, I'm going to say his name wrong, Chapin. Okay, I didn't want to say it wrong, thank you. So the 4th and 5th graders are representing well. They did good. I looked up the word she won on, I forgot. Does anybody remember what word she won with?
Grimace.
Thank you. Yes, that was the word.
Grimace.
She's practicing hard for the next. I talked to her mom, and she's practicing hard for the next one. But her mom said she didn't even know some of the words on the list. She's like, I don't even know what some of these words mean. So good luck, Mabel. Go get them, girl. The middle school quarter 2 assembly is going to be held tomorrow for all students, and the students will receive academic, attendance, and Cougar Pride Trait awards tomorrow. A big thank you to all of the family members who were able to attend the iReady ice cream celebration. They were able to come for any student who made growth on their reading and math. It was for both of those for their winter benchmark, and there were 153 students who received this incentive.
Good.
So it was nice to go and to see the cafeteria full of kids who were receiving the incentive. So that was really nice to see so many kids, and there were lots of parents who came to support too. So it was great.
Good.
Keep it up. Good job.
Yes, great. Travis, do you have anything from the high school?
Yes. This month, we're excited to present our musical production of Legally Blonde. Our students have been working incredibly hard, and we look forward to welcoming the community to enjoy their outstanding performance. All performances will be held at the high school auditorium on the following dates. Thursday, February 26th is a free senior citizen performance at 5 p.m. Guests are invited to join us at 4:15 for a pasta dinner and an opportunity to meet the cast. Although the performance is free, dinner tickets will be $10 for the seniors. Additional dates are February 27th, February 28th, and March 1st for the rest of the community. Our counseling center has created dedicated grade level Google Classrooms for information on financial aid and scholarships. Students in grades 9 through 12 have been invited to join their respective classroom. Our February high school grade level challenge is a hot cocoa bar. The grade with the highest percentage of students passing will earn a hot cocoa bar celebration. A big thank you to our high school parent liaison, Yvonne Bishop, the NRW Booster Club, and the NRW Cougar Pride Parent Group for generously donating supplies for our hot cocoa bar and our monthly Cougar Pride raffle.
Great. John, I know you've been under the weather. Have you been able to contact with Cougar Ops at all?
I have not. I don't know if Mark is there or not.
Oh, okay. We're glad you're with us tonight. Thank you for making it. Is there anything, Mr. Pullen, you would want to report to the board on Cougar Ops?
Well, they keep progressing. We've had 2 mid-year graduates. I don't know if we shared that with you last time or not, but we have 2 students that completed their diploma requirements, so we'll have 2 mid-year graduations, and I don't know whether Miss Sinclair and Mr. Matthews will do a celebration, but in the past, we've held commencement for any student, whether they graduate mid-year in June or in August. So that's something to be proud of and celebrate. And then we've also taken on some additional responsibilities that Mr. de Blasi talked about, where we continue to increase our tutoring opportunities, and we're continuing to look at students that may come into Cougar Ops from another district that can get back on track with credit recovery before they return home. So we'll provide more of an update on that in the spring, but the biggest benefit is the students that graduate, right? Because we know that not everybody is on the same path. Sometimes it takes a little bit more time. Sometimes students accelerate and they're out in a little less time. But the key is that they're graduating, so we're pretty pleased with that.
Yes, indeed. Linda, is there anything you'd like to report from Fork County, either Board of Directors or the Legislative Committee?
Actually, both. The Board of Directors met recently.
Could you turn your volume up a little bit?
The Board of Directors
Thank
met
you.
recently and did our annual things and election of officers. And Fork County Legislative and Committee has been meeting right along, but there was also a legislative breakfast, which several of us attended, and we were able to actually, the representatives that were there, our senator and our assembly person were there, and they answered questions and helped us become aware of how much they already know about our issues and how much they already advocate for us. Coming up on March 19th, there will be at Geneva Club 86, Regent Norwood will be here, and he'll be doing state education updates that evening. And also someone from the New York State Board Association will be presenting about how highly effective school boards operate and giving some background in that. So people that are interested should let Tina know so that you can attend. It should be quite a good presentation.
That will be in Geneva?
That will be in Geneva at Club 86.
Okay.
And that's going to be another Board of Directors meeting that night, too.
Okay. Travis, anything from District Safety Committee?
Nope, nothing at this time
All
for
right.
District Safety or Audit Committee.
Or audit, okay. Linda, anything from handbook? Tina, communications?
We wrote a piece that will be published in the next newsletter, and we've continued to meet and have additional info coming.
Good, good. Anything, John, from personnel or negotiations? Maybe I've lost him.
No.
No, thank you. Okay. Leslie, anything from policy?
Nothing beyond what we've already asked you to read.
Yes,
so
okay.
Continue with what we have.
And we don't have a student rep with us tonight, so we will hear from them another time. That concludes reports and correspondence. At this time, we move to the consent agenda. A motion, please, to approve the consent agenda. Casey, Travis, any discussion? Consent agenda goes through page 6 at the top, I believe. Yes. Pardon me? Oh, yes, the bottom of page 5. Right, okay. Thank you, Tina. Any discussion? All in favor of approving tonight's consent agenda? Motion is carried. We move to page 5 at the bottom. A motion, please, to approve the board appointments. Leslie and Linda. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the designations? Motion is carried. Number 7 on page 6. This is the second read that these policies have been presented. A motion, please, to approve the policies recommendations as described here in the graphs. Motion, please. Travis and Tina. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the policies? Motion is carried. Board member requests, comments, and discussion time. Anyone have anything they wanted to bring up? Linda?
I want to thank the board for voting so that I can run as a candidate for BOCES again. I appreciate it because just as I enjoy serving here, I really enjoy serving at BOCES.
Well, we're
Hopefully,
very glad that you
I'll
want
be able
to
to do it some
that,
more.
and we're more than happy to present you for election. And we certainly hope that you are very successful in that endeavor. Any other discussion, comments? Any good news anyone wants to bring forth?
No.
All right. Then I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion? Tina? Travis? Any discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Thank you and good night. Thank you for coming.